Hi everyone, it's Louise with louisemckayart and welcome to my channel. And I want to give a quick shout out to Marie-Louise Art and Kim's Art Alchemy for inviting me to Talent Tuesday and having me part of their collaboration today, where we're going to do freeform art. So it's something that you've never done before that we're going to share with each other. So without any further ado, let's get started. So before I get started, I'm just going to show you my setup here. I have my Lazy Susan on this table that's been leveled. And I always cover it up before I work on it to make sure that no dust comes down on it in the meantime between this morning and this afternoon. I have my colors, and I'm not sure how I'm going to do this exactly. I have Iridescent Gold by Modern Masters with Orb from TLP, Sea Green by Arteza, and Sea Glass by TLP, Master's Touch Cobalt Turquoise and Tail Feather from TLP, Ultramarine Blue from Golden, and Sapphire from TLP. I'm thinking about adding some Payne's Gray, probably a small amount from Golden, and then the White Waves will be the enhancement that I'll add at the very end to make it look kind of like a sea scene without it looking like a beach scene. Have my heat gun, my torch. Yeah, so this is what my plan is for today. I will be back. I will probably go with 12 ounces of resin. Normally I use about 5.5 for Lazy Susan for just a top coat. So since I'm going to be applying resin, I know it's going to be a lot more. I just don't know yet because I've never done it before. All right, I'll be back with the resin and I'll be pouring it out, and I may or may not show you the mixing part. It might take a little too long. Okay, I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I'm back. I've mixed my resin for the prescribed 4 minutes, a little extra. And now I'm going to pour my resin into my cups, and I'm going to divide out the colors. So I may or may not speed through some of this. I don't know. I'm going to get started here. Let that settle out a little bit. This is the Modern Masters. I'm going to put a dab in the cup. Well, probably not a dab. I'll put more than a dab. This is where I get a little not sure what I'm doing because this is new to me. So I usually get a little uncertain as to what I'm doing. Okay, we'll start with that. So I'm going to go and fast forward as I lay down the colors, and I'll talk through it in real time. I'll put the sea glass in, and I'll add the Pearl Sea Green. I'm not measuring, just kind of going by feel. Next color, Tail Feather. Put a scoop in there. And then with that, I'm going to add the Cobalt Turquoise, which has not even been opened yet. It's such a pretty color. That'd be perfect for this. Go with that. I'm definitely going to speed through this. Sapphire. Ultramarine. All right, Payne's Gray. I'm only going to do a small amount of Payne's Gray. And White Waves, which I don't need a lot of this either. Actually, I'm going to put the resin in there first. Then I'll put the White Waves. This I'm going to add it pretty much to the top. Boy, I might have enough for coasters, but I'm not set up for that. Ay, 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 I might have too much. I'm going to mix it. The gold. I'll probably fast forward through this part. I may just lay some coasters down to do as well. So in the interest of time, I'm going to skip past the rest of the mixing and come right back to the pouring. So I'm trying to get a feel for how much of this resin I'm going to really need. And at this point, I think I don't have enough, but we'll see. This is the turquoise combination, just so you know. I might I need to make another one of these. Lay in some of the blue. So in the interest of time, again, I'm going to speed through the laying down of colors. You can see what I'm doing, and I'll come back when I need to explain anything. I'll probably put on some music here. So here I'm obviously hitting it with a heat gun to help blend these colors together a little bit. And also a side effect is also to help pop some bubbles, but mostly it's to heat this resin up to help it to blend together as we go. While using the heat gun, you want to make sure you're keeping it moving. You don't want to leave it in any one spot for very long. And I'm really trying to prepare and warm this resin for the white waves I'm going to put on next. So I'm just showing you I'm giving another heat treatment ever since adding the little wisps of gold, and I'm going to skip ahead here and come back to add the KS resin white waves. Actually, I'm going to clean up a little bit first, show you how I do that with just this little toothpick. Here I'm just doing a little bit of blending, just to break up the little hard lines that are in there with the colors and also expose some of the colors that I know that are underneath some colors. And then we're going to get finally to the white waves. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to get this on there. And also, as you can see, I did add 4 coasters to the mix here. So I'll have 4 coasters that are done with the 12 ounces that I had. Right here, I'm adding that white waves, and you're supposed to add that after all your other colors are down, after waiting several minutes. In this case, I waited about 15 minutes. Now I'm hitting it with a heat gun, and also I had hit it with a torch to try to get it to warm up. And you want to kind of play with it a little bit with the torch to get it warm, and then you want to start moving it quickly once it's warm to get those cells to form as it starts to spread out like it's doing right there. And you're supposed to be very careful with how often you hit it with a heat gun, because the more you hit it, the more likelihood the cells that you do get will finally break down. So I'm trying to be as judicious as possible here as I'm blowing this out. And just so you know about this White Waves from KS Resin, I've seen it work really good with other people's creations. I just have not mastered how to get that nice seafoam look. So just practice makes perfect in this case. So the more I do this, the more I'm going to get better at it. Just adding a little more here and going to spread it out a little bit more with a heat gun and go from there. And just another little tidbit here. I know you want to use the heat gun in unison with the torch. The heat gun, which provides extra heat and blow to help blow the white waves around, and the torch is very necessary to help pop any air bubbles. But I'm expecting I'll do another coat of this as well. All right, I'm going to call that a wrap. All right, everyone, so it's been about 16 hours or so since I resined this, and this is how it looks. So I think, I don't know if you can see, there's a spot. See, there's some spots like that that are in here. And I think when I resined this, or when I mixed my resin, I probably didn't mix it all the way. There's little spots. My resin never does this, so I think I might have mixed it. So what I'm going to do, and I was going to put another coat on anyway, so I wasn't even worrying about it yesterday. Again, with the 220 grit, I'm just going to go around and lightly sand it. Just sand off the bumps, just lightly. I'm going to go around the sides as well, but for right now, I'm just going to go on the top to show you. I'm going to go through this the whole way, top to bottom, just to smooth it over, and then give it a nice place for the next coat of resin to give a bite. Don't worry about how this looks right now. It's going to be scratched. That's okay. Just don't go too far. Like, I still feel something in here. But the next coat of resin will layer right over the top of it, so even a tiny bump will just be covered up. One little wipe on the sides. Just feel it. Now, with that done, got my alcohol, spritz. Gonna go around it and clean off all the little debris that I just put on here. Feeling one more time for smooth. And then the next thing I'll do is I will re-resin the top of this, and I will do that on camera on extreme fast forward. But I'll probably use about 5 ounces. Just go over the top of this. And it'll be fully finished. And then I'll remove the bottom. But I'm not going to show you that part. I do have that in video 312 if you want to see me removing the bottom. All right, that's all I've got for now. I'll be back. I've got my torch, my spreader, tweezers, toothpick in case I need it. I've got my resin. I've mixed about 160 milliliters in there with the spoon. So I have equal parts resin and thickener, or resin and hardener. And we're just going to get going here. I'm going to lay it down. So I'm going on fast forward here as I spread this out with this little silicone spatula. I have just over 5 ounces here. I think 160 milliliters is what I use for the top coat. And I'm just showing you here how I use the spatula to just push it to the edges and push it to the sides just to get it started. And then I'll go around the sides again with what's left in the cup just to make sure I've got all full coverage. But I'm going to let some music play in the meantime, and I'll be back when I'm done. So everyone, that's a wrap. Here are the final resin results, and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I had a lot of fun doing something different. But I will say this is a lot more an expensive process than doing with fluid art, just because of the sheer amount of resin you have to use. But anyway, I've learned a lot. I may be doing this again, I don't know yet. So if you're new here and haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe, hit the bell and all. You'll get all my latest art tutorials. Please check out my playlists. I have a bunch of different functional art in my playlists, to include Lazy Susans that I will link at the end here. Please leave a comment. I'd like to know what you guys think. I get back to everybody, and a thumbs up is always also appreciated. Be aware to check out my description box. I do have a discount for KS Resin, a 10% discount for you, and in exchange I get 5% back toward my future purchases of KS Resin. I love that resin, and I would encourage anybody to use it. So for now, that's all I have, and who we have coming up next is Kim with Kim's Alchemy Art. And once again, thank you so much, Marie-Louise and Kim, for inviting me to your collaboration. That's all till next time, everybody. Take care.